asset. You need to know what it is that you are selling to the brand so the brand can believe that there is some level of synergy between you and them. On YouTube, you get paid two ways. The brand pays you for the content you create, then YouTube pays you for the views and ads they're able to pay. Don't be an envelope that goes to any address. You have to be selective about who you want to work with because they speak to what you are trying to achieve. Too many of us today, you're working with an alcohol brand. Tomorrow you're with a bank. Tomorrow you're with a fashion house. Sneaking you're with show me. You need to go back to your digital footprint and check who was I swearing at a couple of years ago. How do you work with brands? Anybody interested in working with brands? Okay. What brands do you want to work with?
Okay, there's one called Speak Child.
Speak Child?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a poetry movement.
Mm-hmm.
So it works a lot with well-developed poets, and that's what I would love to work with.
You've spoken to them before?
Yes, I've actually been on their open mic.
Okay, but have you spoken about working with them?
Yeah.
And what was their answer?
Well, they'll think about it.
They'll think about it. Okay, that's fine. Anybody else has ever approached a brand? Yes, and what did they say?
I'm big on skin.
Okay.
So I approached Garnier
Mm-hmm.
and blindly so, and I sent an email. They asked for a rate card. And 2 weeks later, they responded and sent products. So
Fantastic. Okay. Who else wants to work with brands that hasn't worked with brands? Have you approached them?
Well, I've been working on refining me as an asset because right now I'm volunteering as a radio presenter right here in Braamfontein to at least work on my voiceover artist, and as well as I'm a model. So basically I've been going to the gym.
So you're not ready to approach brands. Can we say that?
Not yet. I want to be so good that they can't decline.
It's important what he's just said. And I'll tell you why. A lot of people, and usually we see this with small businesses, they'll come into rooms and complain about funding. We're not funded. There's no funding. But none of them are investor ready. You have to be investor ready if you want to approach anybody to give you money. Same way, if you think you're an asset, you have to be brand ready to work with a brand. We're all sitting on the sidelines and saying, brands don't want to work with us. Brands are not willing to give us work, but you are not ready. What value are you giving to the brand? That you like their brand? Fantastic. Everybody likes their brand. Everybody likes MTN. It's our network. But what are you going to bring in front of MTN that somebody else cannot bring? The conversation about wanting to work with brands, I always shy away from it because I find that if we're being honest with ourselves, we are not brand ready. We are not ready to work with brand. And what he said is powerful. I need to build myself first. Because when I go in front of the brand, I need to be able to say to the brand, this is what I'm offering. And I'll give you an example. I work with financial brands, right? So let's take a bank. I work with banks a lot. I've got 2 assets when I work with banks. My first asset is my audience. The people who like and lol and share and engage. That is my asset. So when I go to the brands, my first thing that I say to them is, I've got over 1 million followers. They're already tuned in, right? Then I double it up or double down on it. And I say, but have you seen how I deliver financial content? Have you ever heard me speak about a TFSA? I know the ins and outs of TFSA. You can't get anybody else in this country that can make finance more palatable than me. That's my second asset. So you need to have the asset. You need to know what it is that you are selling to the brand so the brand can believe that there is some level of synergy between you and them. So yes, we want to work with brands. It's important because it also shows some level of growth. But you can't want to work with a brand when you are really not ready to work with the brand. When you have not cleaned your digital footprint. Some of you have gotten into squabbles years ago. You called people funny names on Facebook. You post funny things on Facebook. One thing about brands, they have a thing called reputational risk management. They do not want to be part of any shenanigans, any scandals. So if you want to work with a brand, you need to go back to your digital footprint and check. Who was I swearing at a couple of years ago? What hateful things did I say as a young... Have you seen when Miss South Africa comes out? I see now South Africans fetch the contestants and they fetch them from when they were 14. Then they find out that you said some funny things, you said some slurs. That's how brands also work. They have to manage their reputation. They need to be able to stand by you when something goes south. So you need to ask yourself, am I brand ready? Same way if you're an SME and you're looking for funding, am I really investor ready? Because SMEs come, they don't even have a tax clearance. Sana, you don't even pay your taxes, but you want someone to fund you. Do you get what I'm saying? You don't have a business plan, but you want someone to fund you. You don't even have the financial model refined, but you want someone to fund you. So it's important that if you want to work with brands, yes, it's a goal, and we must have goals. But work backwards and ask yourself, am I really ready to go after this goal? Because what you don't want is in a meeting, they ask you, where's your tax clearance? No, let me go. They forget you. You're wasting time. Time is money. Time is one of our biggest assets that we cannot recreate as people. So you need to walk into a room where you know what are the chances of them declining you on such administrative things is non-existent. The second thing is you have to be selective. Don't be an envelope that goes to any address. You have to be selective about who you want to work with because they speak to what you are trying to achieve. Too many of us today, you're working with an alcohol brand. Tomorrow you're with a bank. Tomorrow you're with a fashion house. Sneaking you're with Chomi. You need to manage your accessibility. You need to manage who you align with. That's why knowing what you offer is going to assist you in ensuring that you are clear on whose door am I knocking at.
Calling out all content creators, from artists to podcasters to any creator who uses any form of audio. You can now upload your very own audio clip from a song to a content clip and promote your work using the MTN Caller Tunes platform. Get as creative as you want with MTN Caller Tunes and AMP Studios.
The third thing when working with brands, please know who you want to work with and know the person in the brand. Because emailing the CEO is not going to get you to work with the brand. Emailing the girl who said, I work with Ganya, and then you just think that's the girl to email. You're not going to work with the brand. Understanding their processes. Some brands really don't want to speak to content creators, musicians, they don't want to speak to us. They say to you, speak to agency. Go and find who the agency is. In the agency, find who is the lead on the brand. Because you may find that the person is working for said agency, but that person is just an account executive. Or that person is a traffic manager. That person is not going to get you in front of the right people. So, once again, streamline your processes. Know who you want to speak to, know how you want to speak to them, and know when. The last thing I want to say on brands, you're going to meet brands. You're going to meet the people that represent the brands. Don't waste people's time. I'll give you an example. Let's use a Theo Baloyi, for instance. You go to an event, Theo is there. Oh, I want to work with Batu. He gives you his email address, or maybe you're lucky enough, he gives you his cell phone number. Tomorrow, ungwala email. Ekan. That's what we do. That's what we do as people. Even in your email, man. You're just grabbing at everything. I can do this. I want to do this. No. Relax. Wait. Right? Yes, you can send an email and say, hey, this is who I am. We met at this. You gave me your email address. Happy to connect when I'm ready to. Take away the scarcity mentality because that's what makes us desperate. And a desperate person is a dangerous person. Take it away. Breathe. Give yourself enough time so that when you write the email, it is compelling. You've said what it is that you want. You've said why you want it from this person. Right? Because most people, when they read their emails, the first thing they ask is, can I help this person or not? And then the second thing is, am I the right person to help this person or not? You may find that the Theo, who's the CEO of Batu, is not the person who's going to help you. Perhaps maybe you are actually looking for the marketing manager at Batu. Or actually maybe you're looking for someone who does the CSI at Batu. But because sometimes we love association as people, no, can I email ya Theo? Can I number ya Theo? I actually talked to Theo. You're talking to him about what? What are you trying to do with him? Do you get what I'm saying? You get Laduma's email address. You get his number. What are you saying to him? What are you saying that's going to make him sit up and say, hey, I want to work with this person. Hey, actually, let me connect you to the right people. Maybe even my business is not the place. Maybe he says, you know what? Tebe Magugu actually has an internship going on right now. Yes, maybe Tebe is not who you want to work with right now because you want to work with Laduma. But Tebe might be the best way for you to get into industry. You get what I'm saying? You want to hit up Casper. Casper says, you know what? At this point, actually, maybe I got to be the musician, so I'm just going to go into someone's name, Maybe work with Nicolette for now. Do not feel the need to bombard people when you are not ready to. Sometimes you only have that one chance that a person's going to read your emails because so make sure that you understand that by the time you send that email, by the time you enter the DMs of that brand, you know what you are looking for. Hey guys, this is what I want to do. Who's the right person for me at brand to speak to? They'll most likely say to you, hey, actually, you need to speak to the person who does 1, 2, 3, 4. Then they give you the email address. You first go onto LinkedIn. You look for the person's name. You look for their interests. You look at the things that because sometimes we think our ideas are so original. You find that brand has done that 2 years ago because you didn't do enough research on the brand. So we need to do the homework that if we want to work with brands, we know how we want to work with them. We know the brand and we've aligned their energy and our energy and the synergies between us. The last thing with working with brands, I'm going to be very honest with you, it's not the be all and end all. It's not the only way you're going to make money. There's various ways in which you can make money. I, for instance, run a YouTube channel. I have 220-something thousand subscribers on YouTube. Because remember, on YouTube, you get paid 2 ways. The brand pays you for the content you create, then YouTube pays you for the views and ads they're able to play. So you need to decide, how do I make money? Am I chasing the YouTube payment or do I want the brand payment? If you find you have not grown yet and you don't have the numbers to entice brands, because brands will always say they want numbers, you have not grown yet, create the content nonetheless, because there is still a way for you to get paid through creating the content. Can I tell you what is one of my biggest videos from last year? The most stupidest video I did. I didn't even realize that I was doing it and it was going to go big. How to reverse an e-wallet. I mean, I've done some really very educational videos on YouTube. I have sat there speaking about diversification and asset allocation, things that make me sound so clever. But the one video, how to reverse an e-wallet, that was the video that did it. Why? My community is getting value from that video. People send e-wallets every day. They're getting value from it. It wasn't even a sponsored video. F&B didn't come and say, here's the money, please go teach people how to reverse an e-wallet. I did it because the night before, I had sent an e-wallet that I needed to reverse. And I realized, people actually don't know how to reverse an e-wallet. Do you understand? Sometimes you've got to do the work. Because I knew, look, YouTube will pay me nonetheless for the video. But I didn't realize the association I was already creating with that bank. So you've got to also know how you want to be paid. Do I want to be paid for my content or do I want to be paid because I want to monetize the audience? Because remember what I said, my assets are 2 things. How I deliver things and my audience. So once you start tapping into your audience now, you become an advertiser, basically. So it's important to also know, how do I tap into that brand network? Not necessarily having to work with them directly where I know them, they know me, they know I'm going to do content for them. But I'm working with their content because I'm adding value to that space.